Now, Levy, back to our discussion. Levy is a political analyst who is joining us from our Pretoria studio. Levy, the DA accuses Mayor Masina, adding that they have compiled a detailed dossier of wrongdoing by the mayor. Is the DA just stirring a storm in a teacup? Do they really have a dossier?
Well, I think as part of the political process and political systems, you would actually expect a party like the DA to behave in the manner that they're behaving. And there is nothing illegal about what the DA is doing. But I think what it's very important is for those that are sitting in the council to ensure that the issues of wrongdoings are actually being put in the open, so that even when they propose a motion, it can then be easily supported by all the members that sit in the council. It will also give an opportunity to ordinary citizens to be able to know and understand the kind of leaders that they actually have in their local municipalities. But I think also at the same time, one of the questions that we need to ask will be to say, is the strategy of proposing motions of no confidence, especially on the part of the DA, the best option to deal with those that are in power, where the DA is in opposition? And in most instances, motions of no confidence that have been proposed by the Democratic Alliance have not been successful. And I think for me, it will be best for the Democratic Alliance to develop other strategies rather than motions of no confidence. What one would appreciate that is actually being done by the DA and other political parties in South Africa, it's a stance and a posture on the fight against corruption, maladministration, and wrongdoing. And one must actually say that indeed, that voice to fight against corruption should actually continue, and indeed those that are found to be doing corrupt activities should actually be brought to book.
Now, this is the only metro that the ANC governs in this province. Could it be that this is just a DA showdown?
Well, indeed, for me, it's a build-up to 2019 elections. I see it as another strategy for the Democratic Alliance to get people organized against all other political parties, create awareness, make sure that the members of and supporters of the DA are always aware and always feel the presence of the Democratic Alliance. And also, at the same time, at a very positive level, is to say that different political parties would actually make noise and raise issues that relates to corruption and maladministration, and they will make sure that those that seem to be involved in these tendencies are not resting, and they must find it difficult to operate if indeed there are corrupt activities that they're actually involved in.
Now, Levy, the Gauteng Premier, celebrating this victory, accused the DA of corruption in Tshwane and said the metro was in financial distress due to Mayor Solim Simanga's leadership. Is he diverting attention away from the problems Ekurhuleni is faced with?
Well, remember, Lulu, that a few weeks ago, there was a motion of no confidence that was proposed by the ANC in the city of Tshwane. And just today as well, the leadership of the ANC in the city of Tshwane made an attempt to say that the city manager had to vacate office on the basis of a number of aspects. For me, the ANC or Mr. Makura, the Premier of Gauteng, is actually trying to say, when the Democratic Alliance is pointing fingers at us to say that we are corrupt in the city of Ekurhuleni, there are also elements of corruption that are actually taking place in the city of Tshwane. And I want to tell you, Lulu, that we're still going to hear a lot of activities in the city of Tshwane. Because when the DA is trying to dislocate the ANC in Ekurhuleni, the ANC is also trying to do the same with the DA in the city of Tshwane. And that takes us to one final analysis, that where there are coalition governments, there is the possibility of stability is very, very minimal. And that is why our coalition governments in South Africa has to take a particular direction so that we avoid a situation where on a continuous basis there is an element of wanting certain leaders to be removed. Very importantly, there is a lot of focus by politicians in councils focusing on managing coalitions, focusing on ensuring that coalitions and relations don't collapse, and that is always being done at the expense of service delivery, and that should be worrying.
Now, there have been reports doing the rounds that the DA is contemplating replacing Solly Msimang. Has he made any enemies within his own caucus, leading to such speculation?
It is quite difficult to tell now, because for me there should be a number of reasons why, if it is true, the DA had to replace Mr. Msimang. Remember, there has been a talk that Mr. Msimang is going to be the premier candidate for Gauteng. And if there is a decision to remove him from the city of Tshwane, it might be done in an attempt to prepare him to focus on the election campaign so that he touch base on the ordinary citizens in Gauteng. He does not focus on leading the province, ensure that his election machinery to be the premier of Gauteng is well oiled. And for me, that will be the best strategy by the Democratic Alliance. Maybe the question would be, does the Democratic Alliance has a best suitable candidate to replace Mr. Msimang in the city of Tshwane? One would, that will always remain speculation. But also, if you look at the reports of what is happening in the city of Tshwane, there seems to be an element of disagreement between the politicians and the administration, and the administrators rather, and it is mainly on the basis of the 12 billion scandal that is actually rocking the city of Tshwane. And what we need to do is to sit down and wait and see on what is actually going to happen in the near future.
Levy, thank you so much for joining us. That was political analyst Levy Ndou joining us live from our Pretoria studios.